Good morning. Today I want to share a very important concern which has been affecting me individually of late with all the viewers and the listeners. And this relates to students and their present life and their future. It was very unnerving to hear of a few incidents of late where students have landed up in a state of depression. Some of them had to be hospitalized. And there's n number of times that we read in the newspapers and we listen in the news about students who have committed suicide because they could not get admissions into their universities of their choice, or they could not go ahead with the choice of their career preferences, or where they have not been able to meet the demands of the parents and their own expectations. And very unfortunately, in some cases, the students have come to a point of despair where they took the wrong turn, which ended every and any possibility of a future in their lives. So as a parent and a teacher and an educationist, I want to share this concern with all the adults, all parents, teachers, and anybody who is related with the field of education, counselors especially, in ensuring that it is the inner strength and the inner determination and the willpower of every student which is actually the most important ingredient which is going to lead to their success in the future years. There comes a time in the life of every student when they have to embark upon their own respective journeys. They have to leave their homes, they have to leave their parents and families and step out into the bigger, wider world, go to their respective universities to start the new journeys of their life. And it's a very hard time both for the youngsters as well as for the parents. The youngsters have to decide how they want to take control of their lives, because leaving home ground, going into the hostel, or just leading an independent life as a university student calls upon a very different kind of responsibility. And with greater freedom comes much greater responsibility, which every youngster, every young student realizes in due course of time, when after the initial euphoria of being away from parents and of being independent, they realize that no, it's not all that easy to leave the comforts and the loving care of the parents back home and to lead and control their life all by themselves. It's not easy to be the leader of your own self in your own life. So that's the learning process, and that's the period of the growing maturity of every student when they go away from home. Now, all said and done, it is a very hard journey throughout, from the time of finishing off with their board exams and then applying for their university admissions. Just scoring high grades and top marks, A grades and A stars, is not the end. That's just the starting point. Then after that, applying for the suitable universities, sorting out the places which every student thinks could be the right choice for them. Then writing the personal statements and filling up the forms, meeting the deadlines, sending all the applications at the right time. And it's an arduous journey, of course, a very interesting one and a challenging one, and it is a stepping stone to a bright and a brilliant future for every student. And having secured a good place and a good university, a position in a good university, then starts the next stage, where whether it's a 3-year course, 4-year, 5 years course, whatever are the students' options. And it's an ever growing process. And what is of concern is that something which is so hard earned, for instance, the admission into a sought after university, and then completing the course of choice, whether it be medicine or engineering or any other field, how do the students, after completing the course, how do they make use of their acquired degree? Now that's another concern which of late has brought up 3 cases wherein medical students, for instance, having acquired their hard-earned degrees in top UK universities, have decided not to continue with their profession. Now that's an ironic and I would say a rather sad kind of a situation. Of course, if it is for some personal reasons, for health reasons, or any other familial or individual personal compulsions that a person decides to change the line of profession, that may be a different case. But in certain cases, it is when people have a different platform that they think that can provide them with a much more lucrative and a much more glamorous sort of future, they forego their medical degree. This, I think, is a matter of concern, which, as myself, being the mother of a doctor and of upcoming doctors, and hailing from a family of doctors, I know, and I'm sure every other person who is undertaking a course in medicine knows, that it is a very hard course, and it is a lifelong profession. A lifelong learning profession, wherein not even for a day can a doctor of any standing, of any caliber, think that he can give up on his fresh updates and give up on reading the journals and updating information by the minute. So having acquired the degree of a doctor, if people decide to change their course of career, unless there be some absolutely compulsive and compelling reason, they must think that what has gone into their making, it is not easy to get admission into any of the good universities, whether in the UK or Europe or the States, anywhere. So having obtained that seat and then having completed the course and not pursuing the career is, in my view, criminal, unless for some pressing reasons. It means wasting a very precious seat. Ask those people who are going through the grueling experience of having scored very high marks, having scored A stars, yet having to wait for a year or 2 years in order to get admission. Ask those people whose life goal is to become a doctor. They see nothing else other than the profession of medicine. And such people, just falling into a state of depression and negativity to the point of becoming something pathologically more serious and more intense. So it is very important for any responsible, educated individual, be it a fresh medical graduate or an engineer, to know that, and to realize what has gone into their making. It would not be reasonable to think of a pilot in whose training millions of dollars have been invested to complete the training and to acquire the skills of being a pilot, to decide that I don't want to be a pilot. Well, so career options are something which need to be a very serious and a well thought over decision. It should not uh, lead to a waste of money, of course. A person who decides not to, a person who has obtained the degree in medicine and decides not to pursue the career, they may have the resources, so that they may not consider it a waste of money not to pursue their profession as a doctor. But at the same time, they may have cost another person their life by using up that seat and then not pursuing the career. So all these things need to be borne in mind by all youngsters and by parents and by counselors who guide the students, that it is not just enough to secure the position in a good university and get the admission and then in due course of time to complete the course, but they have to they have to have a vision, and they have to have a much broader perspective as to what they want their future to hold for them. Thank you.